On the December 25th, 2024, a tragic event shocked the world of aviation and raised unsettling questions about airspace safety and international responsibility. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, an Azerbaijan Airlines Embraer 190 crashed near Kazakhstan, killing 38 people on board. Russian President Vladimir Putin apologized about it, but critics said it's more like a cheap YouTuber apology video, meaning he's not taking the blame and tries to shift it. Today, we unpack the story of what happened and the controversy surrounding the crash. Russia is no stranger to shooting down a commercial aircraft. From the Cold War confrontations to modern-day conflicts. The history of Russian forces shooting down aircraft is a stark reminder of the risks and tensions in global airspace. During the Cold War, a time when tensions between the Soviet Union and the West ran dangerously high, one of the most infamous incidents occurred on September 1st, 1983, when Korean Airlines Flight 007, a civilian Boeing 747, strayed into Soviet airspace near Sakhalin Island. Soviet forces, suspecting the aircraft was on a US intelligence mission, ordered a Su-15 interceptor to shoot it down. All 269 passengers and crew perished. The tragedy shocked the world and escalated Cold War tensions.
After futile attempts to establish contact with the unknown aircraft, Major Gennady Osipovich, aboard his Su-15 fighter, was assigned to take it down. Recent reports of US recon planes scouting the zone put the USSR under alarm. It was not about to allow the secret military project to be compromised. When Major Osipovich approached the unidentified aircraft to fire warning shots, no response came from the plane. Instead, it suddenly began to climb, slowing its speed, as if it wanted to avoid contact and flee. After a moment of hesitation, fearing that the enemy airplane would escape with valuable intel, Major Osipovich was given permission to open fire and take it down no matter the cost. With an audacious maneuver, he fired 2 AA-3 air-to-air missiles. One of them exploded behind the target, damaging a crucial control line. The second one hit the aircraft in the fuselage. Major Osipovich radioed command that the enemy recon plane was destroyed, and he safely returned to base. The sky was clear, and the USSR's secrets were safe.
In 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight MH17 was shot down over eastern Ukraine, killing all 298 people aboard. International investigators concluded that a bulk missile supplied by Russia and operated by separatists caused the crash. Russia has consistently denied involvement, but the tragedy remains a flashpoint in global politics.
At roughly 1:19 p.m., the Buk fired a missile. At least 4 separate eyewitnesses saw this missile weave several times before the booster separated from the missile body, and the missile transitioned to cruise. Unlike heat-seeking missiles that target engine exhaust, the inside of a Buk missile is a radome. This radome houses a radar section that is continually scanning for the target that the TLAR's fire control system identified. With a speed of up to Mach 3 and a surface ceiling of up to 72,000 feet, for the older models, the missile will reach MH17 in less than a minute. At 1:19 and 56 seconds p.m., the crew acknowledged the last report from Dnipro Control. When the ground control radioed back 4 seconds later, they got no response. However, the cockpit microphones captured why the pilots never responded. At exactly 1:20 p.m., the cockpit recorders captured a massive sound wave. It started from the pilot's position on the left side and traveled right.
Alright, enough about the Russians somewhat guarding their airspace. Now back to the main cause. On Christmas this year, tragedy struck the skies over Kazakhstan as an Azerbaijan Airlines flight carrying 67 people was involved in a devastating crash. While dozens miraculously survived, 38 lives were lost in an incident that raises more questions than answers. Here's what we know so far. The plane took off from Baku at 0355 GMT on Wednesday. However, due to heavy fog, it was diverted to the city of Aktau in Kazakhstan. At approximately 0628, the aircraft attempted an emergency landing but tragically crashed just 3 kilometers from the Aktau airport. Flight Radar 24 data shows the flight's ill-fated final moments. Footage from the crash reveals the plane descending rapidly with its landing gear down, only to burst into flame upon impact. Survivors described the harrowing moment after the crash. Some were seen crawling from the wreckage, many visibly injured. Among them was a young boy who managed to contact his sister, desperately searching for news of their father who was also on board. Heartbreaking stories continue to emerge, like that of a mother traveling with medical tests for her sick child who remains missing.
Filming the final anxious moments before the plane crashed, this passenger is heard praying. God is great, he says. as oxygen masks fall and panic grips the cabin. A flight attendant urges passengers to stay calm and keep their seatbelts fastened. And the man who captured this footage was among 29 survivors, walking from the wreckage at the crash site in Kazakhstan. But 38 people did die. And Russia is being blamed for unintentionally downing the Azerbaijan Airlines plane. Struck by their air defense system, according to sources in Azerbaijan familiar with the crash investigation.
Authorities are investigating multiple potential causes for the crash. Russian media suggested a bird strike might have played a role, while some air defense experts have pointed to evidence consistent with an air defense missile detonation near the aircraft. Risk advisor Justin Crum told the BBC that shrapnel patterns on the plane could indicate involvement from Russian air defenses.
Looking at the pictures of the shrapnel in the aircraft, in the tail of the aircraft, it looks very much like a surface-to-air missile exploded probably 30 to 50 meters to the left rear of the aircraft. And the shrapnel from that, it's misunderstood how these missiles work. They don't actually strike the aircraft, they explode near it and they send shrapnel out. And in this case, it seems to have damaged the rear of the aircraft and the hydraulic systems in particular that affect the flight controls.
However, no conclusion can be drawn just yet, and Azerbaijan's Prosecutor General emphasized that all possible scenarios are under examination. The aircraft involved was an Embraer jet, a Brazilian-made plane with a solid reputation for safety. Embraer has already stated its willingness to assist authorities with the investigation. According to Azerbaijan's Transport Minister Rashad Nabiev, the plane was subjected to external interference, suffering damage both inside and out. Survivors of the crash reported hearing 3 distinct blast sounds while the plane was over Grozny. The speculation, Russian air defense system may have mistakenly targeted the aircraft, but why? Russian authorities have provided the explanation. Dmitry Yadrov, head of Russia's Civil Aviation Agency, stated that the skies above Grozny were closed due to a carpet plan. This is a protocol activated during emergency situations, like the reported attacks by Ukrainian drones targeting infrastructure in Grozny and Vladikavkaz.
The investigation is ongoing. Any incident should be investigated by special aviation authorities, and it would be wrong to make hypotheses before investigators make their verdict. We should wait till the end of the investigation.
Dense fog further complicated the situation according to Russian officials. However, conflicting accounts suggest electronic jamming might have affected the plane's GPS system, forcing the pilots to navigate blindly. Aviation experts believe shrapnel from a Russian missile damaged the hydraulics, leading to the crash. A flight attendant described the moments after the strike. There was panic inside. We tried to calm the passenger, but then another strike injured me. Despite these challenges, the pilots who tragically lost their lives in the crash are credited with saving 29 passengers by managing a partial landing. The aftermath of the crash has sparked intense debate. Azerbaijan has stopped short of directly accusing Russia, perhaps to avoid escalating tensions. Yet some Azerbaijani officials like MP Rasim Musabekov have been more direct, stating the plane was shot down over Russian territory. The United States has also weighed in. White House spokesperson John Kirby mentioned early indications that Russian air defenses might have downed the plane. The Washington Post reported that the evidence extends beyond photos of the damaged aircraft. So where does this leave us? Azerbaijan has demanded an international inquiry into the incident, rejecting proposals for a CIS-led investigation. Meanwhile, Embraer, the Brazilian manufacturer of the plane, has dispatched specialists to the crash site to assist with the investigation. In response to the crash, Azerbaijan Airlines has suspended flights to several Russian cities, citing security concerns. Other carriers including Israel's El Al and UAE's Fly Dubai have also adjusted their routes. And here comes the best part. Russian President Vladimir Putin expressed his condolences in a rare public video apology to Azerbaijan's President Ilham Aliyev. In a statement, the Kremlin said Putin apologized that the tragic incident occurred in Russia's airspace and offered a sincere condolences to the victim's family. However, he stopped short of admitting direct responsibility. Putin explained that the incident occurred during Russian efforts to counter Ukrainian drone attacks. He acknowledged the plane's repeated attempts to land at Grozny airport, but the Kremlin statement avoided confirming whether the airliner was hit by a Russian missiles. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky quickly responded, accusing Russia of spreading disinformation. He pointed to the damage on the aircraft fuselage, calling it very reminiscent of an air defense missile strike. Zelensky emphasized the need for a thorough investigation, stating the key priority is now to answer all questions about what really happened. But that fateful day, the skies over Chechnya were anything but routine. Ukrainian drones were reportedly attacking several cities in the region, including Grozny, Mozdok, and Vladikavkaz. Russian air defense systems were engaged attempting to repel these threats. In the wake of the incident, airlines in Azerbaijan have begun suspending flights to most Russian cities. This suspension will remain in place until the investigation is complete. The tragedy has also raised concern about the risk of flying through conflict zones, especially with the ongoing war in Ukraine creating volatile airspace conditions. The downing of Flight J2-8243 is a sobering reminder of how geopolitical conflicts can have devastating consequences for innocent civilians. While investigations continue, the family of the 38 victims are left to grieve, searching for answers and justice. And that's it for today's video. So what do you think about this tragic incident? Should Russia be held accountable, or was this an unavoidable mistake during a conflict? Let us know what your thoughts down in the comments below. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you dislike the video, hit the dislike button. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching. As usual, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.